Look, I was just about to say tomorrow's gonna be like, yeah, she doesn't. She's one of them bitches that don't even make her man a sandwich, never does dishes. But listen, if I don't have to do dishes and laundry and somebody else wants to do it for me, what am I gonna do? Complain about it? I mean, I may or may not
So
make
part of
a couple
my
of items, but
oh sorry.
Oh my God, relax.
Part of my
Oh, on my dick
neurodivergence
immediately.
is literally that it's like the thought of doing the chore is so much worse. Like, but once I get started, I actually enjoy it. But it's like getting started is sometimes hard. And then once I do it, I'm like, oh, this is actually relaxing and like I was cathartic. But it's the thought of doing it where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then once I start, not even finish it, but once I start, I'm like, oh, this is actually nice.
the feeling of finishing it is what's the best part because you get it off your mind. You know, when everything's done, you have nothing to do. That's when I'm at my best. So I don't like to have things left to do. I don't procrastinate. I like to get things done early and check them again to make sure they're right, and then I'll probably go back and check them again and make sure they're right. Yeah, I'm like that for work,
And that's why you're a successful business owner, period.
You make
She's
the
like,
best
yeah,
fried
and it may
chicken
not
all the
be
way.
even it's not any kind of
and then I'm gonna go
organizational
back and
system.
fix
It's
it.
just the way I have to fucking have it.
That's why you ain't gonna lose.
Hey, if me and Shush come and visit, you make us some fried chicken? That ass? Yes or
Oh
no?
my God, yes.
No, but I'll get my
Mo, we
slaves to
don't
make it
need your
for you. I
no
can't
wisdom. We
make
don't need your
jokes like that
commentary every
anymore.
time I talk.
I think I've got freaking Tourette's. I cannot say that stuff anymore. I cannot do it.
You do have Tourette syndrome, self-diagnosed. Yep, absolutely.
Y'all want to hear something funny? Real quick. So when I first started my first sales job, we all sat in cubicles, and my manager, like I didn't really know him. So for the first week, right? And it's like lawless and like on a sales floor. But my sales manager would literally just like scream obscenities randomly throughout the day. And for a week, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? You know what I mean? Like, and I was new, so obviously I'm trying to, good impression, da da da. And he's bugging out, and he's like cussing randomly throughout the day, yelling. And then I looked at somebody, I'm like, what's wrong with him? And he's like, he's got Tourette's, right? And then one night we went out like as a team, we were drinking. I was like, it was like 2 weeks later. I'm like, do you have Tourette's? Like, why do you like cuss like that throughout the day randomly? He's like, no, dude, I'm fucking with you. But I was like, it was just like weird, but funny.
Those are called
Oh my
tics.
gosh.
They're
When
tics.
you just brought up Tourette's, I was getting ready to unmute to ask like, oh, there's so many people all of a sudden that have Tourette's. Like there's like I just feel like some people are faking it. And then you just said that and it was confirmation because I mean, I see some of these TikTok viral people where I'm like, how do you all have the same tics? Like there's just no way.
That's actually a good idea.
And does everybody
Right?
with tics talk about blowjobs and body parts and cussing all the time?
Yeah,
I'm sure,
exactly.
like, it could be my dog likes garlic.
And I think a lot of the Tourette's, like where their tics is also like it's the movements, but I see these people on TikTok and I don't know, it has to be there's some I forget I think it's called conversion disorder where it's like somebody kind of like implements the mental illness onto themselves. And I think that, they watch these people online and then they convince themselves that they have it. And that's the mental illness in itself. So maybe it's like the Tourette's isn't I know.
You see it every day
Mentally,
faces.
yes, exactly, Glow.
If the parents are responsible for that, though.
Well, they got to be around to be responsible.
It could be hereditary. They could have been eating too much motherfucking Skittles, too much motherfucking sugar. You never
Yeah,
know.
and then also placing your child in front of an iPad every time they're throwing a hissy fit doesn't help either.
That's the socially awkward.
Yes.
thing going on now with kids like that age. I mean, it's really weird. They don't look up. If you're out looking, they don't look up. I mean, when they're babies, they grab the iPad and they know how to turn that bitch on. They know how to get to that fucking whatever that little thing is they watch. That Lulu, whoever it was, I was like, damn, how old was that baby? I was at Walmart.
Miss
Just
Rachel.
staring.
Cocomelon.
Cocomelon, yes, that's she, Cocomelon.
It is
Jesus.
rather
And I'm like,
dystopian.
just looking. And my husband's like, don't stare. And I'm like, this kid is like not even, I mean, like, shouldn't even be walking. And it got it out the purse. It turned it on. And then, or she turned it on and then went to the app and and I was just scared. And I looked at her mom and I was like, that's impressive. And she was like, oh, yeah. Like, looking at me like, really? She's been doing that since she was 8 weeks old. But yeah, and they just stare at it. They don't look around. They don't see what's going on around them. Nothing. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing.
Not 8 weeks.
Yeah, that baby finna turn into Stewie Griffin if you take the iPad away. So
Oh
gonna
my
make them
God,
socially
right?
For
awkward.
real.
Like it's gonna make them
They're
socially
very
awkward,
socially awkward.
like growing up.
It's gonna make them not aware of their surroundings also. So then that's a target for other things to happen.
Well, I've seen them take it away from them, and I mean, it would even be like one of my friends, and I never understood why she had 3 kids because I love her, but she knew better. And I just look at her sometimes on vacation, and I'm like, what are we doing? And she's like, oh, okay. Well, why don't you go over there and take it away from him? And then you go and tell her she needs to get in the bath, and then you go and tell him to put his fishing poles up. And I go over there and take that iPad. And that little booger, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, what do you do to make it stop? She's like, give it back. Quit crying like immediately. Just stopped. And I was like, so this is how they fuck you over. Okay, I got you. Well, we're going to go ahead and put this up for the rest of the weekend. She's like, you can tell you're not a mom. I said, I promise you, when they're not looking, let's put it up. Act like we don't have it. We'll do something else. And we did. They never asked for it because I was outside playing with them and we were doing other stuff. So you got to be outside doing shit with them or else they're going to ask for that shit. You know, I mean, God, I understand why she gives it to them
Exactly.
because I would never want to slap a little baby in my life. I was like, you little smart ass.
Not to mention the fact that what it does to your brain, we get hits of dopamine in different hormones when we're using these devices. And for a child, their brain is not fully developed. The long-term effects that has on their emotional regulation, on the reward system. So it's literally like it's a drug for them. You know how their body and mind is just so fresh, and so even when when they give like the lemons to the babies, it's like, ooh, it's like super hardcore reaction because their whole mechanics is extremely fresh. So when they're going on these devices, it's even it affects them even more than it would us because their system's not fully developed. So I can imagine that the long-term effects of that would be detrimental on their
Well,
neurological
their like
development.
their attention span is like 6 seconds. I mean, it's so short. I mean, I'm like, you don't even see anything when they're watching it. And my niece used to watch these Chinese people eating this frozen shit, like just crunching on this stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, look, they listen to these things. I'm like, what do you get out of this? She's like, I just like the way they do that. And I'm like, no. I went and got my sister and I said, there's some weird shit going on and we need to figure it out. And she said, the Chinese people eat nice. I said, yes. She said, I already know about it. I was
Oh
like, well,
my
what
God.
are we going to do about it? I'm like the second mom. Like, I'm on my niece's Discord and stuff. So her mom's not on there. You know, if I see something, I can, I have to tell my sister if it's something serious, but, she don't need to know everything. And my niece, she was looking, I don't know what she was doing, but looking something up on her iPad. I don't know. But I lived like a good ways away from my sister, and I got a phone call. This has been like a few years ago, and you need to get down here right now, okay? Right now. I said, what's going on? Okay, I'm coming. Well, I got there, and apparently they can look anything up on there, anything. And my niece was like, told her mom, I did not go to anything's on YouTube. Nothing's on YouTube. And I walked in the door, and my niece looked at me and said, Sissy Peach, don't you remember using my iPad the last time you were down when we rode horses? I said, I did use your iPad. Oh my God. Well, it's on parental setting things now and all that, but they don't make their iPads and stuff like that big of a deal. They're just laid out, and they don't take them away from them when they're grounded. It's like you're not grounded from your phone or your iPad. There's other things. So my sister never really put like any kind of big deal system on the electronics, and they really weren't that obsessed with them. They did other stuff. So it's a good babysitter. And for my best friend, I got 5 new iPads. So I'm going that way. If she loses one, I can give her the other one, because that baby, I ain't never seen anything cry like that in my life.
That's real
Oh my
shit.
gosh,
I
my
mean,
niece is the same way, Peach.
Y'all remember the Rowdy Rap Boys? That's what's going on. They put in sugar, spice in these kids' meals these days, and they're gonna turn into some little Powerpuff AI babies. If you ain't watching.
They're already COVID babies, so.
Don't
not
feed
the
them after
COVID
midnight.
babies. No,
Yeah, you heard it. The COVID babies.
I never got COVID vaccine, so I'm good.
And the people are still
I
giving
think
that
he
shit to
means the
kids,
ones that
too.
got pregnant with babies during COVID, maybe.
Oh, that's what you mean? Nah, I think he means like parents that gave birth vaccinated. Or no?
I mean, I think it could be right, but yeah.
It could be both, yeah, for sure.
Damn.
These babies have like a little bit of cyborg features coming up because technology is really
Yes, they do.
giving them
That'd be kind of lit
advanced
though.
ways of learning. I'll tell you what, man. When I was a fucking child, like 5, 6, 7, I would sit at my computer with the fucking big back behind that shit. You remember those? The old
I
ass
was just
computers?
gonna say, when I was 8 years old, I had the big Macintosh. I was burning fucking
No,
CDs
not the
on LimeWire.
Macintosh.
Not the Macintosh, but the big
Talking
like
about the
CPOs.
fucking
The
Oh my
prehistoric
IBM.
gosh,
shit.
I
Talking about
got
the
so many
IBM.
viruses from fucking LimeWire on my fucking
Bro, I used to
family's
love
PC.
LimeWire.
Oh my
Yo, same.
goodness.
I was the CD plug.
Just for one game
So
to fucking
funny.
finish downloading, and I could never play it.
I love that that's a shared experience. Like you mentioned LimeWire, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the viruses. Oh, good times.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like when me and Salty and Chick mentioned payphones. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
I remember
man.
payphones.
Shish
And
is
I
around
used
my age.
Napster
Yep.
before I used LimeWire.
Yep, sure did.
What was
Fuck
it called?
Napster.
Yeah.
Napster.
Oh
Napster.
yeah,
That's
I had
when
Napster for a little bit too. You want me to
when Lil Wayne
really
and Wiz Khalifa was
go all the way
really,
back?
really at the top.
Remember
Way back.
remember AOL? Like you needed the AOL discs to get internet. So I had a lunch lady. So my best friend, his grandma was the lunch lady. So she'd bring to like lunch, and I went to the like elementary school like in a very urban area, but um we go to like every couple months she'd like hook us up with 30-day free trials of AOL, and we'd literally have fucking internet, and it would be like dope as fuck for free. It was sick.
No, that's different. Hey, who here remembers the middle school?
The what?
Yeah, you cut out right at the end there.
The middle school lunch number? Did y'all have lunch number?
Oh, I don't remember that shit.
Yeah, I did.
Remember mine, which is crazy. Still to this, it's ingrained.
With the chocolate milk, with
Well,
the
the
carton.
password that I used was because so when I went to high school, we had like laptops and shit. So I remember my password, which it was like Sheldon. It was but with a capital D, and then I forget the numbers, and then it was an exclamation and a dollar sign.
Remember my first
Feeding
AOL?
this
It was
G.
Brett Favre 254. My first ever AIM username.
Nah, relax.
Well,
You
I
hear
didn't
something
have
serious.
laptops in high
So
school.
when you guys went to high school, right?
Me neither.
Did you guys have Monday through Friday schedules, or did you have 6-day schedules?
6-day.
Me,
What kind of
Monday
What?
through
fucking?
Friday.
Yeah, what the
let,
I
fuck?
let,
6
definitely
let me
did
days.
explain. Let me
Saturday school a
explain. We
lot.
had
I
day A,
definitely got
B,
in
C.
Terrible
trouble.
grades.
Let me
Saturday school was for people who missed a lot of school.
no. Let me explain. We had day A, B, C, D, E, and F. So if Monday would be A, B, C, D, E, F. F would be Friday, and then E would be Monday, and then that following Tuesday, A would start again. Did anybody else have that?
You need to go to your
Never
principal
heard of
right
that
now.
in my life.
So we
Go
had
to
like
your principal and get
6 day
that
schedule.
get that 6 day back. You need that 6 day back.
See, we
back
only
pay,
had
okay?
like A and B days, so it would rotate between the A and B days over the 5-day week.
Okay.
No, the motherfuckers owe you a whole year, man. You had 6 days. That's crazy.
How do you keep that shit together as like a teacher?
Bro, you
let
had to
alone
go
a
to
fucking
school on
student?
Saturday? What the fuck?
No, we didn't go to school on Saturday. Like it was Monday
He's
through
trolling
Friday, but
you.
you had six scheduled days. Like so Monday would
Yeah,
be
so Monday through Friday,
E,
and then Monday of the next. Yeah.
and then you start like Tuesday would be A,
So
Friday
just
would be
rotating
B.
classes?
Yeah, it was more for like.
Yeah, I was
Why
gonna
couldn't
say
you
that
just say
makes more
that?
Nah,
Were they?
I
them
was saying,
teachers
Hold
was
on.
studying
bitch.
Hold
astrology.
on.
They took Saturdays
Were they
and
blocked
fucking
classes? Like you
discipline.
took, or were they like 8 period? How many
You
periods
gonna
would you
get
have on
the
these
We had
other
punishment.
days?
9 periods in high school, and like, so for example, like I would have one class like 4 out of the 6 days, and then 2 of those days I got to leave school early because it was in my 9th period.
Did you get homeroom?
We had homeroom before.
Right, to start the morning.
Yeah.
I always slept in homeroom.
Nah,
I was
homeroom
a
was
student
on
council, so
Sundays.
I had to speak every day.
Oh my
That
gosh!
makes
Shush,
so
So
much
I
sense.
think
I
we
have
went to
I'm
school together.
What's that?
I think me and Shush went to school together.
wait, like really?
No, like
Oh, okay.
the vibe, the vibe.
Okay, I was going to say whoa, but I have
I
this
mean, you
funny story. I
could,
think I've
you know.
told y'all this before, but I can't remember. But I was a freshman in high school, and the seniors had pulled this prank on my math teacher. His name was Mr. B, and he was handsome. Okay, he was a handsome guy, and to be like an underwear model before they found his pictures. So they printed out like hundreds of them, and the teachers were in on it too. So the seniors and the teachers, they printed out hundreds of his underwear modeling pictures and just plastered it over all over the. I saw, and he's coming in, he's so pissed, he's like ripping them off, he's like laughing at all. Like he was just, since he was a grump that day, he was so, but it was iconic. It was so
That's
iconic.
sexual harassment. Sexual harassment.
What do you mean? How? He was an underwear model. Like he was
No,
literally
It's
for a
public.
company.
It's
not
public
Yeah, it's
anymore.
public.
pictures.
It's not like they were nudes or something that he sent privately. He was a model for underwear,
You
like
don't.
boxers and shit.
You don't know how it feels.
Man, nah.
Well, he was an asshole sometimes, so he totally deserved it.
Why is it the math teachers that always take the most heat? They take the most heat. Like
He threw a fucking calculator. Best student, because he literally, so I remember he threw a calculator at me one time because he was mad that I asked for one. Mind you, I always had my calculator, and I put myself in all the recessive classes so I could be with my stupid ass friends. And he after like he called for a meeting, like a faculty meeting with my mom, and was like, got all my teachers together, and they're all like, yeah, no, you advanced class, what are you doing? I was like, they're like, oh yeah, you just want to, I'm like, okay, fine. So then after that, because then I was not with my stupid ass friends anymore, but actually, even though he threw a calculator at me, I was very thankful he did that. You know, I
Talked a driver's ed teacher into letting us smoke cigarettes while we were in driver's ed.
what? Wait, no, please elaborate, because that's crazy. What the fuck?
So we had 2 coaches, Coach Simmons. One of them taught sex ed and home economics, and the other one
How do I feel?
No way. I was no look. Man, I'm
You're
45.
so
I've been married to two
perverted.
people. I've only had sex with two people. I'm the most boringest shit in the world. So I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about making money when I was in school. So I talked to. There was supposed to be three of us. Like went in the little car, driving or whatever. Brought my cigarettes and my my lighter with me, and I said, walking out to the car, I was, and he was like, he just shook his head, like, what is it? I said, well, I was just gonna propose that if you let us, the two in the back seat at least, what is driving. There's a McDonald's on the way, and before we turn around, we'll stop there. We'll buy you whatever you want to eat for lunch, and we can do this once a week if you want to. We can make it a deal. And he said, get in the car. I got in the car. I was in the back seat. I waited about 5 minutes, and I was like, so what's your answer? And he was like, well, it don't look like you're going to leave me alone, so light your cigarettes. In the car, driving that car, but I did have to buy a McDonald's whenever we went. So today that could have went as a bribe, and you probably could have gotten, put
How
in
old were
jail
you?
for it or whatever. I was
Where you going with that?
yeah,
Oh, I
and
thought
then
you were
Yep.
smoking cigarettes
yeah,
at
What?
like 12 or
Yeah.
some shit.
Then what? Like he
no,
asked you
no,
to
no,
put
no.
the cigarette
Well,
out
no,
on
I
his
did.
chest?
I
Like
probably
what
did.
the fuck?
I probably no, it
That
was no,
shit.
no perverted stuff. I wouldn't. I know. I would have probably scammed him out of some money and been like, "Look, give me $30, and we'll go do this pyramid over here. We'll go do this." No, I was always about selling stuff. I sold candy, tie-dye shirts. I loved I loved little businesses. I always had a business going. But the other teacher, our home ec teacher, not our home ec teacher, but our shop teacher, I wanted to know how to change oil and do, change tires and stuff. But he was huge. He was like 600 pounds and couldn't get out to the woods. And we would have to go pick out leaves and make these boards and stuff. So the day before, I took ice chests with beer, jet ski down there, and towels and everything. It's a 3-hour period. And riding jet skis. Well, then the other classes found out about it, and I was charging them to go and set it up for them the next day. So I was a little I was a little
He was
I
a
was a big badass, but I
hustler.
never did anything bad. Yeah, I was hustling for sure.
Or
Good
she's
night,
sitting in the
Tush.
Baddie 10 space. Welcome to the Bad Girls Club. Sweet D just in the Bad Girls Club space. We found her.
Trust me, you'll have your hands full. So be careful there.
No, it's all harmless jokes, man. I mean, well, I kid.
Hey y'all, I'm actually about to go do my little nighttime thing, but wow, this was such a fun
This was such a good time.
Oh my God, it's such a good time, such good vibes, such good energy. Loves to see it. I hope everyone has a fabulous night and a restful sleep.
It was, some would say the
Bye.
space was very fluid.
Well,
You know
thank
what
you
I
for
mean?
that
Bye,
Love
heartfelt
you
message.
too.
Period. All right, bye
amazing.
everybody.
Good night.
Also, I'm
Love you,
gonna
babies.
crash space because I'm getting tired. So
Well, I had
Keith
the
is
best
gonna
time, and I
open
think
up
it
the
was the
space.
perfect amount of time. Yeah. No, I'm not opening up. No. I'm losing my voice. I sound like a big mad man with my voice. I got to get some rest, honestly, I do. But I had a good time. I'm glad we're back.
You have a
We're
great
back,
voice, sweet.
bitches. Well, same time tomorrow, same motherfucking people doing the same thing, laughing right here. Okay? I
Sounds
love
good.
you, my baddie.
Y'all 10